every morning, the last thing I do before I leave my home is look in the mirror, give myself a high five, and say, something amazing is going to happen today. And then I go, boom, shakalaka. Why do I do that? Anybody got any ideas why I do that? Because it turns on my free internal pharmacy of endorphins, dopamine, and anandamide. You know, that beautiful cocktail, my favorite cocktail. Because I find that when I feel good, I make better decisions and I do good. So I'd like to invite you to stand up with me, turn around to the person next to you, and only on the count of 3, look deep into their eyes and say something amazing is going to happen today. Give them a double high five on the count of 3. And then give me a big boom shakalaka. A bit more energy in the room. I'm loving it. Thank you for staying, because the people that stay right till the very end are putting skin in the game. They don't leave early, they go the extra mile. On the 21st, around the 21st of November in 2021, one of my friends called me and said, Julie, I've just done this incredible course with a guy called Darwish. It's a 1-day, like 8 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. I think you'll really enjoy it, and I've given him your name and number, and somebody will call you in a couple of days' time. A couple of days after, Angela Sudi phoned me and said, somebody gave us your name and said that you'd be a great fit for the Gladiator Mastery. It's going to take place in January 2022. We would love you to join us. I said, please tell me about it. I said, no, we can't tell you anything about it. So you want me to pay, I think it was 2,000 dirhams for 2 days in January, but you're not going to tell me anything about it. And my friend just said, it's amazing. I said, do you know something? My energy is really low right now. So when my energy is low, I don't tend to make decisions. And my energy was low because for the 4 years running up to that date, I'd been pulled out of the English Channel after a failed attempt from swimming England to France. I'm going to take the ferry next time. It's much easier. I came back disappointed, and 2 days later, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer with 6 months to live. And I thought, I've got to forget the disappointment of not swimming to France. And I now have this huge challenge ahead of me. So for 2 years, 2018 to 2020, I was the primary caregiver for my husband, who went from stage 4, 6 months to live, to complete recovery. Woo! During that time, the man that first said, I love you, passed away. It was my father. My husband was in intensive care. My father was in England. I couldn't leave my husband, and I knew my dad was going to go. So that was a big, big blow. Just 2 years later, my mother passed away. So I don't know about anybody else. I'm sure there's people in the room that have lost somebody that they love. But when the mothership goes down, it's like, oh my gosh, who am I? Where do I go from here? So when I had the call from Angela, this is a course for 2 days. We can't tell you anything about it. It's 2,000 dirhams. I was kind of, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't really know if I want to do that. I went away for Christmas. I went to join my husband in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Anybody from Colorado in the room? Like the cowboy boots? No? And I came back in January 2022. I picked up the phone. I said, are there any places left on that course? Because I'd like to join it. Something has to change. I have to get out of this grief, this down, low energy, and lift up, 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 up. And I'd been walking in the forest, snowshoeing in the forest, and I thought something has to change. So I want to say thank you to Angela for calling me, and to Daruesh for those 2 days in January 2022 that led on to being a speaker in April on a panel, and today on the main stage. So even when you feel, oh, you've got nothing, you've lost everything, you've got nothing to lose. Write that down. Even when you think you've lost everything, you've got nothing to lose. So just do it. So today I'm just going to, this is the last session, I'm going to talk to you about entering uncharted waters. Entering the unknown. Sometimes we dive into uncharted waters. We jump ship, we leave home, we go to a new country, we learn a new language, we leave our corporate job, and we choose to. But sometimes the universe makes us so uncomfortable and makes us move. And we don't always have a map. So how many people have been in uncharted waters and had to embrace the unknown without a map, don't really know how to do this? So I'm going to share a few stories of how you can actually learn to swim. How does that sound? Riding the waves of change. In business, in life, in relationships, we need to be almost like a champion surfer, right? Any surfers in the room? No? Learn to surf. Because a surfer is always present, not checking the phone, not looking back, not looking to the right, not looking to the left, looking straight ahead, ready to read the waves, to ride the waves of change. These waves of change can be tsunamis, like real wake-up calls. And I've had a few. And I think one of the biggest ones was when I was 36, when I was younger, so much younger than I am today. That's a song, isn't it? That my husband, my first husband of 7 years, a professional squash player, walked off a Premier League match, dropped to the floor, and didn't get back up again. That was a huge tsunami for me. I found myself in deep, uncharted waters right here in the UAE. I'd only been working here 6 months. My husband had only been here 9 weeks. That was a huge tsunami. It's a whole workshop and a story, so I'm not going to go too much into it because we've got 21 minutes. A soul tap. How many people in the room have had what I call a soul tap? A little tap on the shoulder. It starts as a whisper and then it gets louder and louder and louder until you cannot ignore it. About 3 years after I lost my first husband, I went walkabout. I wandered around Australia, I went to the States, and then I went to Malaysia. And when I was in Malaysia, I saw this gorgeous mountain. And it said, Julie, come to me. And so I asked the guide, tell me about this mountain. How tall is it? How long does it take to climb it? What's the best kind of months to climb it? He said 4,095 meters, can be done in 3 days, April. This was September 2001. I said, I'm going to come back next year on my 40th birthday and climb that mountain. I managed to persuade 5 of my girlfriends to come and climb the mountain with me. I was stood on top of Kota Kinabalu in Malaysia, 5:30 in the morning, arms outstretched, tears running down my eyes, everybody singing happy birthday. And this soul tap said, start a business called Mountain High. You're on a mountain, you're on a natural high. mountain high, start an expedition company, take women and a few good men to the mountains, to the forests, to the oceans, to the desert. So that was a soul tap. Some people call these wake-up calls. And when we have a health issue, it's definitely a wake-up call. When the stock exchange changed, it's definitely a wake-up call. And some people call them bathroom mirror moments. And I know that every single one of you in this room, I believe, has had a bathroom mirror moment. Am I right? Show of hands. You've looked at yourself in the mirror and said, is this it? Can I change this? What could I do? And I've had several bathroom mirror moments, and they always turn out to be tears, a journal, and then a journey. Because I think travel takes you to places and changes you. So some of the lessons that I had in all of these experiences, and I've had some kick-ass experiences, summiting on mountains, speaking at the $1 Million Round Table, 2 best-selling books. What I've learned is you let go or you be dragged. It's a Zen proverb, let go or be dragged. So let go of the stories, let go of the hurt, let go of the pain. Don't let it drag you. Just let go. That you can change adversity into adventure. It's much more exciting. That you can change all those wounds into wisdom. And share your story so that other people think, I do have choices. I can change. And change fear to fearing less. Now, some people say fear, false evidence appearing real. Some people say forget everything and run. And other people choose to say face everything and rise. You get to choose. So the call of the wild. When I was 7 years old, my father gave me a globe. I wasn't so great at geography, but I loved spinning the globe, closing my eyes, and pointing to a place, and then having wild conversations about that place. What do they wear? What do they eat? What kind of terrain's there? And that night, I would go to bed and have wild dreams. I was climbing mountains. I was dog sledding in the Arctic. I was in the jungle. I was in the Amazon. I'd go to school the next day, and in playtime, I'd say, who wants to come to Africa? And everybody would look at me. What? I said, just come with me. Close your eyes. Just imagine you're in Africa with animals and walking through this jungle and everything. So even at 7, I was a bit of an Indiana Jules. Not an Indiana Jones, an Indiana Jules. And fast forward, time goes on, you finish school, you go to university, you get a job, you get married, you have 2.5, no, that wasn't my program. You forget some of your dreams as a child. So when my world fell apart when I was 36 and my professional squash playing husband dropped to the floor, my world fell apart. But then, looking in the mirror, I said, what happened to that little girl? This was years after. What happened to that little girl that was going to climb mountains, run through the forest, dog sledding the Arctic? What happened to her? Let's go find her. So after climbing that first mountain in 2002, I decided to start an expedition company. I decided to make a choice, take a chance, and that's when everything changed for me. Please write that down. When you make a choice, when you take a chance, everything changes. You trade comfort and security, what we know, to uncertainty and curiosity. Who would like to have the world in their hands? What do you do when you want something? Do you sit and wait for it to come to you? What do you do when you want? Who would like this globe? That's what I'm saying. Yes, of course. Reward this guy. He who hesitates is lost. When you want something and somebody offers you the world, please take it. So around 70 global expeditions, 10 to the Arctic, 3 to Antarctica, desert, ocean, mountain, forests. Because I took a bold decision. I took a choice. I made a different choice. I took a chance and everything changes. Please write this down. Travel leaves you speechless, then makes you a storyteller. It's not one of mine. It's by a famous traveler called Ibn Battuta, thousands of years, hundreds of years ago, that left home for 29 years, went to 40 different countries, and he didn't have GPS or WhatsApp or Pinterest or Instagram. He was a big influencer, though. 120,000 kilometers. Travel leaves you speechless and makes you a storyteller. So a lot of the lessons that I've learned and that my clients learn, that all of you learn from travel, is about decision-making, trust, communication, risk. Please write down 3 countries that you would like to go to, that you've never, ever been to before. 3 countries. If you don't got a notepad, pop it in your phone. 3 countries that you would like to go to. And you can come and tell me afterwards. Is everybody excited about the places that you're going? You've already wrote them down? Amazing. How many people have ever been in at the deep end? What do I mean by that? Put in a really challenging situation that you've never done before. The legs are shaking, it's scary, I've never done this before. In 2018, I decided to put myself in a really scary situation and attempted to swim the English Channel from England to France. I wanted to do it as a team. I had 4 people that said they would join me. And then 3 months before the slot, 4 people bailed out. I thought you could wear a wetsuit. No. You wear a swimsuit, a hat, goggles, and a light. That's it. No wetsuit. So 4 people dropped out. I was in at the deep end. I'd already paid £2,000 for a deposit for the boat. So I had to make a decision. Do I just forget it? Forget the dream? Do I find somebody else to come and swim with me? Or do I give it a go solo? So I did a Richard Branson, screw it, I'm going to do it. Which meant I had to swim for 6 hours in cold water in the English Channel, not quite so nice as the water here, just to qualify. And this is when I found out that some of my friends became strangers. And a lot of strangers in Dover and Deal became my friends. Please write down 3 people that you can count on when the chips are down. 3 people who've got your back. If you can find 3 people, you're very, very lucky. So as you're going through these changes, when you make wild decisions, some friendships will deepen and some friendships will fizzle out. Please find your cheerleaders. Please find the people say, go for it, Julie, you can do it. Not the, what on earth do you want to do that for? Or ain't it awful club? I didn't make it to France, but I learned a lot about myself. You can see me swimming in the dark, murky water, big ships coming by. But I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about water. So I decided to write a book about water called Uncharted Waters. Who would like a copy of Uncharted Waters? I've only got one. Who would like it? Ah, now we've got athletes in the room. Now people are running. Give them all a round of applause. I love it. Now you've got the game. Who would like Run. Weathering the storms, as I mentioned earlier, change my teeth, when I mentioned earlier, when you think you've lost everything, you've got nothing to lose. This picture is taken on Drake's Passage, the most treacherous sea crossing in the whole world. It takes 3 days to get to the most beautiful Antarctica Peninsula. Anybody been in the room to Antarctica? No, I know Angela and Darwish have been to Antarctica. So the saying, "this too shall pass," was very appropriate for the crossing because everybody was throwing up. It was 3 days and we just, oh gosh. So we all had to develop what I call resilience. And resilience is the ability to bounce forward. People say bounce back. I say bounce forward, higher and stronger, to stay calm and optimistic during challenging, unpredictable circumstances and places. And that's in business and life and relationships. So we develop resilience by saying yes to experiences. Because the more experiences we have, the more resilient we become. The more resilient we become, the better we deal with stress and anxiety. We become more confident because we've got reference points along the way. If I can do this, then I can do anything. There's different types of resilience. There's physical resilience. How many people go to the gym or work out, do some form of exercise? Amazing. Mental resilience, meditation, mindfulness, reading, expanding your mind. Emotional resilience, being aware of all your emotions, naming them, taming them, acknowledging them. Financial resilience, social resilience. Who are your friends? Who are your acquaintances? Do you have solitude, stillness, and silence? And do you have social connection? 5 elements: optimism, focusing on solutions, accountability, being open and flexible. Some resilience rituals. Please write down my number. If you would like a PDF of resilience rituals, I will send you one in the next couple of days. 050 659 5536. But I'm going to share a couple with you now. This one is one of my favorites. For fast-acting stress relief, just add water. The neuroscience shows us that when we spend time in, on, around, or even underwater, it activates what's known by the late Dr. Wallace J. Nichols as our blue mind, that calm, focused, meditative state where awe, inspiration, and wonder is abundant. Compared. Pardon? My phone number is 050 659 5536. Do not call me between 5 and 8 because that's my morning time. Do not call me after 8:30 because that's my evening ritual. So your gray mind is when you're frazzled, when you're burnt out, when even though you've got 100 things to do, you just got no energy, you can't really get into gear. Your red mind is your stress mind, and we need stress. That's how we achieve our goals. We're driven by goals. If a car comes towards us, we dive it. Our blue mind is so important to our innovation and creativity. So when you feel you're in your red mind, please balance it out with times in your blue mind. From doing to actually just being. I'm going to share another secret with you. Please come closer. Lean in. This is a secret. You are your medicine. Nature is your medicine. Less screen, more blue and green. I think Chris Fade mentioned yesterday, human connection. We spend a lot of time, directed attention, looking at a screen, It's a phone, it's a computer, directed attention. Our eyes are like this, they're not blinking, so we get dry eyes. After hours of looking at a screen, we get brain fog. So what you need to do is get outside to what environmental psychologists call attention restoration. Big picture thinking. Greens, blues. This changes your frequency. A lot of people have spoken about frequency and vibration. Take off your shoes, walk barefoot, jump up and down, ground, get the energy flowing, get some sunlight, feel the wind, feel the breeze, float in the water. This is all free. Make nature your prescription. I'm very conscious of time, so I'm going to move on, but I'm going to be around. We're at a Gladiator conference. I've just talked about nature, but let's talk about second nature. Second nature is what becomes natural to us. It's in our nature. Innate intelligence. And so important as a warrior of the heart, a gladiator of the mind. 3 brains, head, heart, hara. That we know our values, we know our virtues, our priorities, our focus, intention, and discipline. These are all things that it's not rocket science, but we sometimes forget them, or we don't have the courage and faith to live in alignment with them. And some people go through periods of time, they say, I don't really know who I am, what my values are. I've lost my sense of self. And for those of you there right now, I suggest a vision quest. How many people have ever been on a vision quest in the room? Quite a few. And this is going into the desert, going somewhere on your own, even if it's only for a day. It doesn't have to be 3-4 days to South America in a sweat lodge or anything. It helps. And the self-awareness questions are, who am I? What's my purpose? What's blocking and stopping me from being the best version of myself? And then visualizing, what does the best version of myself look like? What are the traits, the characteristics, the habits, the disciplines, and the focus? And when I work with clients, I use this 4 boxes. What's the current reality? What's the ideal reality? What are your options? And what are the actions? But ideally, I would recommend that you spend time out on your own. If you can walk through the desert, that is me in the desert, and just ask those questions, and the answers will come. Once you've got the answers, I challenge you to be mad. M-A-D, make a difference. Please write down 3 causes that you stand for. Maybe it's children, wildlife, animals. 3 causes, something greater than yourself. That you put your hand, your heart, your money on the line to stand for that cause. There's an Eastern philosophy saying that for a woman to live a full life, she must plant a tree, write a book, and have a son. I've planted lots of trees. I've written 2 books. I said, can I change it to climb a mountain instead? So choose something, a cause greater than yourself. And if you can't think of anything, please just plant a tree. Because when we give back to the earth gives to us. Trees give us oxygen, we give them CO2. We have 2 homes. We have our body and we have our earth. What we do to the planet, what we do to water, what we do to the forest, what we do to nature, we're doing to ourselves. So please, 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 be mad. This is my second to last slide. Many, many years ago, I think it was back for my 45th birthday, I was given a book by Robin Sharma for my 45th birthday. And I thought, what a strange book, because it was titled, Who Will Cry When You Die? I thought, it's my birthday. Why would you give me a book like that? It's Sanskrit, which basically means when we are born, we come out crying, and everybody else around us is rejoicing. It's a girl, it's a girl, it's a boy, it's a boy. Oh my gosh, this is so fantastic. Then to live your life in such a way that when you pass to the next adventure, you got laughing and smiling, said, I lived a full life. I lived it fully, I'm leaving it fully. And you're joyful. And everybody else around is crying. So who will cry when you die? I'd like you to spend a little quiet time. And this is a toughie, and I had to do this exercise with Robin Sharma, I think it was in 2001, to write your own eulogy. And I know you think you came to a big motivational conference, but life is impermanent, and we think we have time, but we don't always have time. So what would people say at your eulogy? Please write it down. I wrote mine. Here lies Julie Lewis, a mad woman. She made a difference. She lived wild adventures and encouraged other people to climb mountains. She was a daughter. She was a sister. She was a really cool auntie to Alicia. What would people say? Please write this down. I know it's a really tough exercise at a motivational conference to do. Would they say he or she was kind, she was generous, she was loving, she made an impact? What would people say? This really helps you make decisions about how you're going to live your life from today. Can we have a bit of volume on this? This is called Song for a Pure Heart. I think when we did this exercise, they had the Braveheart soundtrack going, we're all. So who do you need to become? What decisions do you need to make? How do you want to live your life from today onwards after these 48 hours of intense content, of inspiration, ideas? Who will cry when you die? What will people say? And you can come back to this exercise anytime you're feeling a little bit off track, thinking, am I making the right decisions? Am I doing the right thing? If it was my last day on the planet, what would I do? What decisions would I make? What causes would I support? Who would love me? Who would I love? Who have I helped? Who has breathed more easily because of my presence? Let's have a little bit of volume on that music, please. Just breathing that in. I know you're thinking, what a strange last slide to share with you guys. It is so, so important that every breath you take, every move you make, that's a song, I'll be watching you, that your values, your emotional priorities, your strengths, your virtues, your intentions, your habits, your discipline will lead you to live fully and leave fully. let me find my... Who enjoyed that exercise? Who found it like, really? Yeah. It's a hard one. And I still have the envelope because we then put the letter in an envelope. So I do this when you have a little bit more time. You put the letter in the envelope, you put rose petals in, and every now and again I open it. So my closing slide is one last piece of advice. When you feel yourself stuck between a rock and a hard place, be like water.
Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Lewis.
Thank you. You have been amazing. Give yourself a round of applause. And I've been Julie. Mwah.